It is 10 o'clock. Do you know what number it is, John? What number show are we in?
286.
We need to get what? Club news out of the way. Any club news at all that we need to? It's not the first of the month, so it's probably not as much.
Yeah, this is Ken here. We kind of got hijacked last week by a certain unknown person, so none of us at the club news got a chance to go. But Nittany Valley Woodturners, we did lathe maintenance, and it really worked out well. Everybody was interested. We have a lot of new people. They were interested in products and things. But what was interesting, the person, our vice president, was going to do it, Paul Demmer, and he had a family emergency. So that fell to the next person, who was the president. So guess who got a chance to do a demo? So, but it went off well. He had a presentation already done, so I just kind of tweaked it. So it was my words rather than his. Then it really worked out well. So everybody's happy. It's timely. I think everybody at the beginning of the year tries to do lathe maintenance. And one interesting fact that came out was whenever you slide your banjo, sometimes you get that squeaking. I don't know if you've ever heard it or not. Well, what I noticed is on the bottom of it, sometimes there's some little burrs show up on the bottom of that. So I took a little file to mine and got rid of a lot of that squeaking. And the other important point that came out was there's an underside to the lathe bed too. Don't forget to clean the underside of the lathe bed. Mm-hmm. So that was but we had good participation. I think we had almost 40 people there at the club meeting.
Another place that people tend to ignore is if you flip your tool rest upside down and wax the shaft at the camshaft, and on the one ways it's a square bar that fits through. If you wax that, it makes one hell of a difference on the performance, ease of unlocking and locking and sliding back and forth.
You know, I've heard different people say different things about whether or not we should wax or do nothing to that bar or put a little bit of oil on it. So I couldn't get a definitive answer on what to do in the bottom on that bar.
I would never put oil on it because it'll attract dust. But if you put a good floor paste wax on it, and paste wax hardens, and when it flashes off, it's like an impervious. Nothing sticks to it. Like glue doesn't stick to wax, so neither does the resins and stuff. So if you get a nice layer of wax on that rod, nothing sticks to it, but it's still functional because all it does is twist the locking mechanism up and down and slide back and forth. And that's what you need.
Over here, I use a dry spray lubricant.
Dry lube.
And that does not gather the dust or anything, but it does lubricate everything very well.
Yeah, Kenny, the other thing that I found is those folks that have Powermatics, they have a tendency never to take off the tailstock because it's so heavy. And it is amazing how much stuff builds up underneath that tailstock. Yeah. And I don't have a solution exactly on how to make it easy to get the tailstock off a Powermatic unless you got a grandson. But
another thing that I was surprised at is the Morse taper holes. They're usually pretty darn dirty. So if you blow them out with something, even if it's just a straw, blow that out once in a while and keep that nice and clean. No abrasives in there. So that was another thing.
I think you all probably know this, but I was watching a Glenn Lucas, I forget what he calls it, Life of a Woodturner or something. He's got a series, and he talked about lathe maintenance and specifically cleaning the banjo. He's got different kind of lathes, so I thought, well, I'll do that. And I've got an American Beauty, so I took mine off. It's built totally differently than his. So you can't take the rod out from the tool rest or the banjo quite the same way, but you can still clean the heck out of it. And he recommends the dry lube, so I did the dry lube, and then I put wax on the whole thing. He recommended a different kind of wax, but what's the British wax called?
Machine wax.
Yeah,
it's called a machine wax.
It's a machine. But there's a brand that is like endorsed by the Queen or something. Or
BRI.
Yeah. Axminster sell it. over
Yeah.
here, Axminster Tools.
Right. So I did that. And of course, it's amazing when you have the right tools and your tools are tuned up, how much easier things work.
Hey, the other thing, Ken, what did you talk to the guys about? One of the big issues for me is all the sawdust that gathers down in under the ways. And do you just have a big hole or something, or how do you? I have to vacuum it out every now and then, or I can't slide my banjo across.
Well, everybody laughed at me, but I have two things I like to do. I have one of those old brushes, the shop brushes you get for $1 at Harbor Freight or whatever. I use that constantly. I got to keep my lathe bed clean. It's just one of those things about me. And the other thing at the end of the day, don't laugh, I get my leaf blower. It's just a short one, and I just blow out everything. So it's a mess. I put my dust mask on and I run away right after I do it.
Damn right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Open the window.
I use the leaf blower to blow out the whole shop to my neighbor's lawn. I open the window, I'm just blowing right out to him. So, hey, speaking about blowing out stuff, my son's studying mechatronics, he's switching careers in his 50s, and he came up at Christmas and gave me a air pressure regulator for my compressor. And then he gave me he said, OSHA says you shouldn't have more than 40 pounds of pressure on the nozzle you use to spray, like in a shop or stuff. And you should also have tiny holes on either side of the nozzle, so if you're up against something, it doesn't pop back. So I did that. I love it. I told him, you got me the best tool I've ever had. But then I had to put a separate hose on the inlet to go for my air-driven sander because it needs more than 40, and I didn't want to have to be adjusting the pressure all the time. So you blow them out. Oh, maybe I'll have to start doing it. I vacuum it when I can't slide the banjo anymore. But yeah.
Well, I eventually do. It's just an 18-volt, Ryobi. It doesn't have a whole lot of power, so it doesn't go. It's not too bad, but again, you got to run away.
Jim, if you have a one-way, it's not a problem. They thought about it.
What'd they do?
Well, the bed is raised and there's gaps underneath because it's a welded bed. They were able to easily do that. If it's a cast bed, obviously it's not as easy to do.
Yeah,
I found myself, Jim, that using a blower to blow off the lathe simply redistributes the dust around the rest of the shop. It doesn't actually get rid of the dust the same way a vacuum cleaner does.
You have to open the window.
I also have a fan in the window that I turn on. On that fan, run away.
we need a different industry so that we don't have to deal with the questions of dirt and dust and all that. Hey, let's start going through the guys. Dave, you have your hand up. Let's see what you got to show or talk about.
Well, after our meeting last Thursday, I went out to the wood pile and I split a lot of wood and used a chainsaw and found some really nice figure and some of the wood. Also used the chainsaw on a crotch, so I cut it in a way it could be mounted. So since I have an international audience here and some females, my question is this: what's my moral obligation to use that wood?
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, it works really well for heating the house.
I think it's a shame that you burn it.
I have enough wood that will keep me warm for a whole year in hell after I die. So I have plenty of wood.
I think that your moral obligation isn't just if you can't use it yourself and you think it's really nice, donate it to your local wood turning club so that other people might have a crack at it.
Well, Ron Sheehan sometimes takes some of it. I have to check with him. By the way, I wanted to go to gallery as soon as I got done asking a question and see if I could see everyone's reaction. Thank you.
All right.
Dave, if you want, I can come over and take some out to Clubhouse on next month if you have extra that you think is particularly fine for turning. Just let me know.
I'll go through it and see what I have. But there's a good chance I do have some, and I can bring it to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dave.
You bet.
If he's got any ash, I have no ash, and I want to try turning ash. I'm gonna looking for ash without having to buy it from the wood people. So,
Well, I had quite a bit of ash about 3 years ago, but most of it went up in smoke.
Geez, what were we talking about? See, my brain slipped a notch there. Anyways,
you were checking to see if any of the other clubs had any news. Remember?
Oh, thank you, Ken. I was caught by surprise here. I was just going to be a lazy sit and watch and listen today. But any other club news? We're going to have to start having John make you host, Ken. So, all right.
It was our Golden Horseshoe annual meeting tonight, but it's canceled. We've got 6 to 8 inches of snow, and it's still coming down. So traffic is chaos everywhere this morning. Schools are all closed. Universities are closed. Our medical clinic is closed.
I thought you folks just like thrived in the snow.
Well, when you have 8 million people around,
yeah,
it's chaos.
I mean, around here, when we have a half an inch of snow, people panic.
Yeah, it's dry snow, so blowing it out is going to be easy.
Yeah,
I had a snow.
The issue around snow when I was in Terre Haute, I went there and people were closing down for very light levels of snow. And I thought, coming from Canada, I can drive in the snow. And the person who came from Canada said, it's not you you have to worry about, the other idiots who don't know how to drive in the snow that you have to worry about.
Definitely true.
So, yeah, it's been cold here, and when we did the morning walk this morning, my son-in-law said it's gonna get colder, and we could possibly get some snow yet. Look, I should probably be a Canadian. If I get snow, I want a lot of it. I don't want just this little sprinkling. I want to be snowed in, if you know what that means. So, hey, Jim, Duxbury, yeah. I guess we'll make you next, huh?
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
You got it. I'll do a screen share here real quick. This is my latest. I've been working on offset chucks.
Woo!
You see that?
Yeah, I do.
This is the latest. This is on a Talon chuck with cold jaws. And the outside two pieces here, well, are bolted to the cold jaws, and this is a slide in the middle here, goes back and forth. So I can get tremendous offset. I can go 3-4 inches offset. I'll show some more slides here of it. That's the slide. It's pinned together. It's also dovetailed. The sides of this have an 8-degree slant to them, so when it's clamped in there, it locks into place.
So that's what locks it. I was going to say, how do you keep the chuck tight?
It locks in.
Okay.
That's the slide. And by having it on the cold jaws, you have a backing. And when it clamps to that backing, it's super strong and flat. So these outside two, all 4 of them go in and out, but these other 2 just ride and back as a backing. So you can do some big offsets with it.
No.
You call this the Chuck's Deluxe, huh?
You got it. This is also, this is the 90-degree mark right here. So this is dead center.
Well, one of the things
when you put something big on here, you cover that up. So off here, this is the dead center too. These are also in half-inch indexing. So as you slide this across, you can see where you're at.
Jim, one of the things I would question is, as you go further and further in the offset, the lathe becomes more and more unbalanced because of the weight of the offset being off center. Have you thought about putting any counterweights on the outside of on the blank side of the thing to actually help with that weight offset?
I could do that. first off, Doug, I learned to turn on a shop smith.
Okay.
And you learn to follow it around the room. So there's no problem with my lathe, but if it starts walking around, I just follow it around. But I can, on the other side,
Yeah.
this has bolt holes in it. They're M6 bolts, and I could bolt something underneath there. I haven't. The damnedest part of making all this stuff is now I can make it. I don't know what I'm going to make, and I'm working next on what I'm going to make.
Well, I think it just comes from, for many people, they start worrying about when the lathe starts shaking. So with your offset, it's naturally going to vibrate. And so you've got a nice space there, as you said, and doing something that you could put some sort of counterbalance your offset would be really cool.
Yeah.
So Doug, what you're saying is the two pieces that Jim has connected to his cold jaw or faceplate, that they could be made a larger radius that then would let you put balancing someplace on those two pieces.
Yeah, yes, except the fact that with the way that he's got the offset, the slot down the center line that goes horizontally in this picture as he's showing.
Yeah.
What you want to put your offset weight is out on the side, whereas
on the other side,
on the other side, directly 90 degrees. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You see here.
Yeah.
This is the leaf you're seeing underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
You can bolt the counterweight underneath here on this side.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want on that. It's fabulous. And the cost is, I think it cost me $7 for the bolt. Oh, and they're stainless steel bolts.
Well, exactly. Well,
what's the smallest piece you could put in that? It seems like it's really big. I'd like to be able to use it for smaller things. Make one and just maybe have two different jaws in it. So
this is a 2.5 inch. The bigger the round is, the more gripping power you have.
Right.
You're gripping with wood.
Yeah.
You can make from here, you can make a 2-inch tenon or just a block, an inch thick, 2 inches with a screw in the middle and screw anything you want onto here. Or you can make a flat one and use double-sided tape. If you're making jewelry, use double-sided tape. You can do an inch in diameter if you want.
Good ideas.
But also the amount of offset, you think of this as it'll go 2.5 inches. When you're taking the wood off of one side, you're also taking it off the other side. So the biggest thing you can put in this is 12 inch or 14 inch. You start going 2.5 inches offset, you're way out in left field. In fact, maybe I shouldn't even tell this.
Some people would say that what you're doing, Jim, is way out in left field.
Well, if you want to go a step further, if you go this way, you're turning off the edge of here, so you're turning it a concave. No matter what you turn on the side of a bowl or whatever, you're turning concave. If you move this far enough out, take it way out here, which you can do, you can turn on the inside of this. Now that's getting dangerous, but you're turning convex or concave rather than convex. You could do that. You got to know what you're doing and do small amounts, so small things. Also, although you can do it, I don't know why you would do it. But anyway.
Why the offset in the slot? I see the long slot is higher on the one board and the short slot is lower. Is that an intention or a funnel mistake?
If I cut it right through the middle, which I did I learned the hard way on everything, okay? But the original one, I cut it right through the middle, which takes your zero mark out. So this compression, this is cut 3/16 above and 3/16 below, which puts the gripping right through the center of here. So it does the same thing, but it gets the cut out of, I still have the register mark for my zero. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it. You don't want to cut away your marks. Okay. I'm gonna have to think this through a while. I'm getting back on off-center turning, and I get tired of taking it off and finding another hole and putting it in. I just wonder if there's a way to rig it in a jig like this and do
Well,
off-center.
the neat part of this is you index this. I mean, you slide this to get the offset, and then you index it to get your different facets, whatever you're doing. So in fact, you can actually do faceting with this, but a faceted block of wood doesn't look like a faceted diamond. It's a kind of worthless. Okay.
So Jim Bowman, you could
worthless things.
Jim Bowman, you could pair this up with your chainsaw and have some really interesting pieces, huh?
Yeah, never mind. Never mind. I'll stop this year. One of the things I'll just show one of the things they could do with the thing is this is an Ikebana turn-off center.
Uh-huh. That's beautiful. Our Lancaster Club is making some of them for what's John, what's her name? We're making those for
I can't remember her name, but her husband was a woodturner, and
George
and
Rosenwasser.
Is that and he passed away. And he was an eye surgeon, correct?
Yes, he was. He was the best.
And so she wants to get Ikebana vases to give to patients.
That would be an extra special one.
Absolutely.
There's a whole science to Ikebanas. I mean, look it up sometime. We're going to demo this. Is it next weekend? I think next weekend.
I love it.
Southern North Carolina. But anyway, this is the offset one. You always think of turning wood round. Sometimes you turn wood square. And this is a wood turn.
Oh,
this is not done on a bandsaw. In fact, you'd have a hell of a time doing this on a bandsaw. But
wait a minute.
Ikebana goes all the way through.
You put that on that offset?
This is done on center.
Oh, okay.
This is done on center of a cube. A cube has 8 corners. If you take 2 corners off, you have 6 corners.
Jeez.
Now you only have 5 corners. No. Anyway, you have 6 corners.
Oh, jeez.
This is turned straight off. This is not turned at an angle. This is cut straight off. It's damn near harder to cut a straight line than it is to cut a radius, to tell you the truth. But anyway, this is a cube with the top 2 corners taken off.
I can't believe you cut that without using a bandsaw. You cut it spinning on the lathe.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But you start with a cube. You got a cube and you cut the top and the bottom off. Right?
Jim, I got another question for your offset thing here. Jim Bowman mentioned about using like Dill's tools for making offset spindles. Could you make an offset jig for your tool rest, not the tool rest, but the other end of the lathe, so that you could actually do a jig that's moving side to side? See,
you're talking a live center on the tailstock.
A live center offset on the tailstock, because that if your offset tool, if you just turn it 90 degrees or whatever degrees you want, is equivalent to what Jim is talking about with moving your point around for your center point for your headstock. If you have a same jig on the tailstock, you could now put a different angles on your lathe the way that Barbara Dill does.
The way you do that is you leave a larger end on it so that you can put different centers on the other end. You're always turning on the center on this end. You can't take it off center.
Then you can make crankshafts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
you can
want to
make
make a crankshaft.
No, you can make a crankshaft easy on, I've got a crankshaft on here. Wait,
But she has a point, some turnings in which she offsets both ends of it. So she offsets the headstock and the tailstock end. And so with your jig of being round, if I offset the headstock end of it and put the tailstock end in another direction, it's still going to go between a center as such.
okay. Oh, wait, we're breaking things here. Here's a crankshaft type. This is a bud base.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is crankshaft type. This is 6/8 surfaces.
Yep.
And this is done parallel offset.
Yeah.
You put the center, your center is always in the center on the headstock. You can't offset that center. That's anchored. The other side, you can, this is a parallel offset.
But you just showed me a jig where you could offset the headstock.
This is angular offset. This is where you have the center here and you angle this one.
So why can't you do that with your offset jig?
Hey, you call about turning, Doug.
If you offset, how do I say this? If you this is parallel.
I understand what you're saying.
To get this offset, you can offset this end by having this larger and just changing the offsets, the circles.
Yeah.
You could make an offset pin on this end so that you could offset this to this side, but you can't offset this side because this side's either always on center or you'd have to use my offset or an offset chuck.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
But there's no reason. There's no reason to. There's no reason to offset this end because this is your drive end, and you can offset that with a chuck. But this end, if you want to go offset, you can always go from here to an offset on this end of the piece.
Yeah, some of the pieces that Jim Bowman has been making have actually been offset on both ends, but they're offset and not at 90 degrees. So now your jig, and so you have what she does is she makes the 4 offset positions with pins on both ends. Okay.
On both ends, yes. So
both
like
ends.
that. Yes.
So what I'm saying is your offset chuck, if you take a look at it closely, your offset chuck is all you've done is you've moved the chuck down to 90, to a little bit off, as though you've moved the pin on one end. Okay. Now, if I take my chuck that you made and now just turn that 90 degrees again, I now have an offset in a different position on the headstock, but I don't have it on the tailstock.
Yeah, I think you're right. You'd have to parallel's easy using those chucks, but then when you want to twist, what we call a twisted offset, then you have to be able to rotate both of Jim's chucks 90 degrees between tail and head.
No, you don't have to rotate the chuck. You need to rotate the wood. Right. But anyway, I'm just this is a rabbit hole. Let's go on to other people. I guess we have to think.
Go for it.
Do you have it? You're done, Jim?
I'm good.
Well, I tell you, you always end up leaving me things to think about. And Doug, I may go out and try to replicate that because I have to do like Jim. I have to try it to learn. So
I have all these. I have shelves full of things that are absolutely worthless, but I love them, and I don't know what's going to happen when I'm gone. There's going to be a big fire somewhere.
Your offspring's going to pull the U-Haul truck up and load it up. So
no, they'll probably burn it. Anyway.
Oh, hey, okay. Thank you, Jim. David.
Hey, Hudgel.
Let me spotlight you. Here you are. Thank you. What do you got to show us today?
Well, I've got to show you this urn that was built I did for a gentleman down the street who died a few days ago. I only had 3 days to do it, so but we got it done. It's Manitoba maple, of course. Are you all there?
I'm here. Yeah, were you talking to us? I didn't see you. Okay.
No, we're dumbfounded in awe.
Yeah, it probably won't matter that red's going to fade because they'll probably put it somewhere, huh?
It's going underground, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a striking piece of wood, isn't it?
Yes. And I've got 2 more pieces like it. It's nice pieces.
How did you figure the volume?
We didn't. For this gentleman, he's I don't think you could make an urn big enough for this guy.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So they'll have to do something with the rest of the ashes.
All right. How tall is this one, David?
I didn't even have time to measure it. It's about 12 or 14 inches tall.
Wow.
And about 8 inches wide.
How did you hollow it, David?
With who's the guy that makes the jig?
Bosch,
Trent?
No, the other one.
Jameson?
Jameson?
Jamison. Yeah, I used the Jamison.
And is the top is the lid threaded or
no, it's just sits.
Fit. Got it.
I didn't have time to try to do a threaded piece.
That's beautiful.
I think Jameson's got a good thing. It just takes too much space in my shop. I can't afford 3 foot wide on the back or whatever it is.
I agree with you.
But it works, so I'd like to, speaking of his, I'd like to see how a mate tool positioning of a cup cutter would work on Jameson's rig. I don't like to mess with having to take out a little bit and sharpen it and put it back in. I'm just not into that. So.
Jim, I'll take some pictures and maybe bring it up next week or week after. I got his adapter at one of his demos like 15 years ago. It's a #1 Hunter. It's tiny. It's 3/16 of an inch in diameter.
Okay.
It fits in his tool holder that he had. It's in a little 3/4 inch or 3/16 inch mounted. It's canted at the proper angle. It's very, very good and gives you fantastic inner surface.
Great. I would love to see. I didn't realize I have a coring system now, so I don't need one, but Doug had loaned me one he had or gotten in, and I tried it, and it was just took up too much space in the shop.
Yeah,
I said,
I have a home built Jameson I made, I don't know, it's over 15 years ago. And it works, as you say, works well.
Yeah.
So David, I got a question for you. Well, what's the inside diameter?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 7 inches.
Oh, okay. I just did a quick calculation on it. You said you'd be worried about how much room you have. If it's 7 inches in diameters or 8 inches in diameters, there's over 300 cubic inches of space in there, so it'll fit just about anyway. Unless the guy weighs 400 pounds or 500 pounds, you got lots of room.
Well, he probably weighs a good 300. Yes.
Yeah, well, it'll fit because that's 311 is what I calculated out. 311 cubic inches, and so he'll fit no problem.
Thank you, Bert. The thing I don't like about the Jameson is the light thing. It always shakes and gets out of alignment for me.
Yeah. I don't know the whole. It's a great idea, but I have experimented with that too, and there's just too much shake, and the laser doesn't stay where it needs to be in my book. I'm probably doing it wrong, but
right.
Got to look at Mike Golka's video on doing the camera one where you put a camera on there, and that works like for hollowing. You can actually see where your tool is. If you watch Mike Golka's video on hollowing with a small camera and a laptop, man, that works great. I think Mike today.
That's a poor man's Trent Bosch rig.
Yeah.
Trent. Trent Bosch has a camera, and I took I made the poor man's one using a security camera, but I still had too much shake. But it's an awesome idea. I love it. Anyways,
Yeah, my experience is the shake is caused from how you attach it to your boring bar. You need a fairly substantial setup there. My homemade one, I use 1 inch steel conduit. Like so the it's not the weight, it's the diameter of the bar you're using. The larger just like the boring bar, the larger the diameter, the less flex.
That's a good point. Hey, just a second, Doug. I'll get back to David. Do you have more to show us?
No.
Okay, I'm going to kill the share.
I just want to go into this business about the Jameson versus the Trent Bosch with the boring with things. I found I started off with the Jameson's coring system and changed to the Trent Bosch system because it's much more compact and I can use it in a much smaller space on my lathe. And I've never had the problem with the vibration you guys have had because the entire system is just on your banjo itself, and it really so I just like it because of the small space. You got small handles on it. You don't have to have this big piece sticking out the back, and it's very stable. Anyway,
Doug, are you using the monitor and the or the camera so that you can see where the tool is inside the vessel?
I haven't done that. I tried it. I did have that attachment on the Jameson tool, and so I haven't done it yet. And I got to the point where I'm using sound. I just use my sound.
Yeah, but I got to tell you that Trent Bosch visualizer system is superb. It removes all the problems that we hear people talk about.
Hey, David.
And I was going to put that on my next list for my birthday. I think I'll ask my wife for it.
Hey, David, I don't have the control. They changed it to kill your share. Can you do it?
I don't know how to do it.
Down where you clicked on to start it, click on it. It'll give you a stop. Or at the top of the frame.
I'm sorry, I don't see it.
All right, John Zeke, do you see any
just put your cursor on his thumbnail on your screen and then right click it and it'll give you the stop share function as a host.
I will look for it. I don't think I'm co-host, but I'll look for it.
So
I did that and I can't find it doesn't let me. It has a stop video, but yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a menu here. There's a share.
David, you got to go in the Zoom controls. You're in Microsoft there.
They used to have it right here at the top of they took it away in their wisdom.
Down in the bottom bar across the very bottom of your screen, do you not see a green?
He got it. He got it. Good go. But we ought to write a book about how to do Zoom sharing. We've learned a lot.
We could write a book about how not to.
It could be a dummies for Zoom sharing.
It'd be a really long book.
Back to boring bars.
Yes, go ahead.
On a boring bar, I use a narrow cutter, a very narrow cutter, not over an 1/8 inch wide. That stops vibration because you're not tearing up as much wood. The other thing is the boring bar works great for hollowing things, whatever, but it saves you a tremendous number of Forstner bits. If I want something 6 5/16 in diameter and 8 inches deep, I draw it on the surface of the thing, started with a parting tool, and then put my Jameson boring bar out and train the laser on the side of the lathe, and you go straight in. It works beautiful.
Yeah.
I use it more for making straight drill site type cuts than I do for hollowing, way more.
It beats having to sharpen the Forstners. So I have something I'll share. I don't see any raised hands right now.
I think Sherry had something she was going
Oh,
to share
did she?
with us.
Yeah,
So,
I
she
forgot.
didn't.
We're
Yep.
Sherry. Why don't you continue the conversation, as it were?
All right. Well, let me see if I can get the share going properly here.
You got
done. Well done.
Can you see it?
Sure can.
Okay, so the significance here is well, again, I don't usually make square things at all, but on Christmas Day, my hubby and I decided we were going to try and make a lidded box. So some of the significance here is being able to actually draw something and then execute. So yeah, it took about 3 or 4 days, but anyways, we got the picture drawn and had some scrap wood and kind of worked through it and made this this little lidded box. So I'm quite pleased with how it turned out.
What kind of wood is that, Sherry?
So the body is made from I think it's some red oak, some scrap red oak, and the rest, the other features are some walnut. And
It's beautiful.
it was
Very
really
nice.
It was a fun little project.
Jerry, you got it wrong. The trick in making these things is you make the piece first, and then you draw it, and everybody thinks you're a genius.
That's
How do we know she didn't do that, Jim?
Yeah. Okay, and then I'll show you too. I've often been fixated with making those sort of little embellished those pieces with the embellished ring. So here I was just going to show you sort of my process. So this is a piece of poplar from my backyard. I affix a faceplate on it and then turn it. So now this is not the same piece of poplar. I think that's a piece of cedar or something. But and I'm practicing just kind of I guess the overall layout, trying to figure out, do I like big beads or small beads? Should that center area be proud of the rest of the piece, or and then just overall dimensions. How wide do I want the rim? How wide do I want the center? And so I'm practicing on, and there I'm practicing trying to do the OG, right? Get a nice OG on it. And so here's another one. Again, similar idea. Making some adjustments. Do I want the outside rim to be concave, convex? So again, just fiddling with all the different dimensions and trying to figure out what ratios I like. And again, the backside, just working on my OGs. And here again is another one, so you can see I made like a sloped rim and a deeper hollow in the middle. And again, another one with, I didn't really like the convex rim. I liked the more of an angled one. And you can see the center area there. I call it a torus. It kind of looks inflated. And so, I don't like that. So again, just fiddling around, and I kind of landed on something that I liked. So now here I've taken the piece and colored the back and the front and the center black, and I've not yet embellished the ring. And again, that's just the back. And now here I'm practicing with my carving pens or carving bits and my pyrography pen. And here's some sample boards that I made. So I'm trying to decide how am I going to embellish the center of that piece. So here I make up little boards with different things that I like, and then kind of figure, which technique am I going to apply to the center of the piece. And I decided that, I like the 1, 2, 3, probably about the fourth one over with the cuppers, Jim. And
yes, Stuart Farini would love that, I think. That's kind of his style.
The notion, if you look at the fourth board over, so at the very top, basically all I did was carve some of those little beads, and the friction burns the wood. And then in the next little frame down, I used the pyrography pen, I think, to make like 1,000 little dots to kind of fill in whatever wood wasn't burned from doing the little beads. And then I colored the whole thing black, and then I dry brushed it. So that was kind of the approach that I used. And then here's what it looks like after I've actually embellished that centerpiece that I hadn't figured out what to do with yet. And at this point, I've just colored it all black. And then here's another piece where I've added the dry brushing aspect to that little ring that was all colored black. And then
what paint are you using for that?
There's the last one that I did. So on all of them, I was using golden heavy body acrylics.
Okay, great.
So I think I use, I just, the outside is all black, and then again, I typically use not India ink. I used to try using India ink, but it raises the grain, and I'm not happy with that at all. So I moved to using an alcohol-based leather dye. And what I like about that too is it gets into all these, these tiny little facets, but it doesn't build up. Some people use black paint, but then it can build up in the bottom of those little holes, and then you're busy trying to clean that out. So I've found that the black leather dye works really well. It just absorbs all the way in, and it doesn't build up. And then just a heavy body acrylic paint for the dry brushing.
Hey, I have a suggestion for you. What's the diameter of the center black one on this one?
On this one?
Yeah.
I don't know off.
2 inches, 3 inches?
Maybe 2.5 inches.
Okay, I have a suggestion. Drill a 2-inch hole in there, make a pedestal, and you're very close to a beautiful wig stand.
Oh, there you go.
I would love to have one of those as a wig stand. Not that I have a wig, but.
Well, Bert's going to send you his wig.
Yeah, sure. I have a question about your practice thing that you made, the 7 or 8 different practice things. Do you keep those someplace and put on the back what you actually did on the individual one, so you don't have to repeat it, so you have a little bit of a library to look at? Or do you just start over every time you have a project?
Yes. So on the side of each one of those little sticks, I make a note as to what product I used. So for example, when I was trying to figure out the India ink thing, how do I want to make that stuff black? So I made a little test board, and on that test board, on one square, I did India ink. On the next one, I did black leather dye. On the next one, I did paint. And then on the side of the board, I write down what I used. And then I usually, for each project that I make, I start a project sheet, and I make a little note as to what type of wood it was, and what the sequence of activities is that I use, because I notoriously get the sequence wrong. I'll be excited, that things are kind of turning out well, and I'm excited to see what it's going to look like when it's finished, and then I'll put the finish the outside, when really what I should do is maybe finish the back side and not finish the front side, so that then I could put things back on the lathe if I wanted, in case the paint goes sideways. So yeah, it's all. But
do you write down which burning tools you use as well, or is that just sort of whatever?
No, I haven't used more than probably 5 burning tools, so I can usually keep track of that. But that's my next, as I'm do more of this, I plan to make some more of those little story sticks, and I'll make little tests of the different tips that I have. so that then I can, look back at those and go, okay, what might be a good fit for this piece, or, how can I combine those different things together? So.
Yeah,
Sherry,
Hey, I've
go
noticed.
ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I
this
was
is
just going to say that that storage of things, I find I look at it and say, this is so obvious how I make it. And then I go back 6 months, I completely forgotten what I did. So
Exactly. Like I look at this and I can't, before, as I said, while I was trying to figure out what the better products would be, like, for example, I've now moved to using black gesso for the outside. I like the way gesso works. It's very sandable, and it ends up being absolutely flat black. And it's hard to get a flat black, right?
Yeah,
And
I'm curious about why you chose flat black and not a gloss.
Mostly because the pieces of wood these were kind of test pieces and practice pieces, and the wood that I used was poplar from the yard, and it had lots of warts and cracks and things in it, and so you guys had suggested that milliput, so I used milliput to fix a bunch of those things, but still, when you hold them in the light, you could see the flaws. And so I knew that if I used a gloss color, that those flaws would be amplified when the whole piece was finished. So I chose flat black to minimize the reflection.
Sherry,
Okay, that's a
on
great
your
answer.
turnings, the turning looks very nice. Did you use a beading tool, or did you use a spindle gouge to make those beads?
I used a beading tool. I'm not quite skilled enough to get but
Well, the turning looks beautiful. I just was curious.
thank you. But
So did you draw
in
draw
using
those
the
out in
beading tool, it's ideal because you get a nice bead, but I haven't figured out how to use the beading tool and not get tear out on the top of the bead.
Yeah, that's the bite with them. Even the good ones like D-Ways, in my book, they're the best one. I tear out, and it's all depending on the wood you're using, which if it snaps off, it snaps off. And yeah, that's a big challenge.
Sherry, I would suggest use the beading tool, but that last final touch up of the top, you do it with a spindle gouge.
That's a good idea. But yeah, again, because I've been using just, the softer wood too, I think that amplifies the tear out. So, but overall, do you guys have any feedback on like the dimensions and that I'm using? Does it look like would you make that embellished bit bigger or smaller, or
I would
the
have to see a
centerpiece deeper,
cross-sectional.
or sorry?
I would have to see a cross-sectional drawing.
Okay, I'll get on that.
Sherry, I think
take a page out of Richard Rappin's book, and with one of those that your practice pieces, just take it to the bandsaw and cut it in half. And then like on your practice pieces, it's amazing. I got that from Raffin when I did the workshops in Calgary with them, is take something and it makes you cringe when you put all the work into something and then run it through a bandsaw. But the benefit of looking at something cross-sectionally, like was just mentioned, is phenomenal, because then you can get a sense of what does it actually look like, right? It's great.
Like,
and then your comment about gesso is
I wanted that centerpiece to be proud, and so I started making it proud, and then it ended up looking like it had been inflated, and I didn't like that at all. It didn't look natural. So I found that if you just slope the rim, it ends up making that centerpiece look like it's proud of the rest of the piece, but it's not really. If you put a ruler across there, it's actually flat.
Yeah. And your comment about using gesso, my sister's an artist and she does a lot of painting and stuff, and she used gesso specifically to get on canvases because it gives you a flat surface with no imperfections. You can put multiple layers and it sands beautifully smooth, so it'll hide it'll hide imperfections like crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. And they make white gesso and
That's
clear
what I use.
gesso as well. So
I've used black and white gesso, and it's for the same reason. It gives you a smooth surface to do something on. It's great.
Yeah, be careful with that gesso. There's two different types. One type's sandable, the other type's not.
Oh, okay.
And I got a tub of the knot if you'd like to have it.
No, I specifically went and asked the person when I was buying it. I told them what I was wanting to do, and they gave me the stuff and said, "Yeah, this is sandable because you can get a smooth finish." And that's what they do. They put it on canvas and give it a quick wipe to get rid of the cloth grain on painting. And so you put it on wood, it's the same.
Yeah, works well.
Hey guys, for the last 2 minutes, Sherry, thanks. Yeah, the artist, I think we could purchase your artist blanks, those little strips. They're beautiful. But I want to show you since we were talking about wig stands last week, this week I made it a priority to make one. And I want to share it real quick with you. I'm going to show you. We talked about offset. You guys are seeing this, right?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
I found one of my early mock-ups of the off-center turning when back last year when Barbara Deal was influencing us, and I went out to the shop and I had some old Southern growth porch posts that I turned down to make this for the center of it, and then I did the bottom and the top. My bottom, I just happened to have a piece there. It was 7 inches by 2 1/4, and the top is 5 as per your instructions. This is how I did the bottom. I used the usual label. I don't have these glued together because you may be surprised. I intend to paint the facets of this with iridescent paint, and then finish the bottom and top natural. They're spalted maple. Again, junk pieces were in my shop. I do probably want to make the final another one with persimmon that I have that will turn nicer and cleaner. But I tell you, turning this, I had to learn. I continue my learning of spindle gouge and chisels, and I have made peace with my bottom feeder or whatever you want to call it for cleaning out these coves in here. They work real fine. I use a 1/2 inch bowl gouge to do the basic shaping there when I'm off center. These are parallel off center, by the way. And one thing I learned in the process was if you don't mark I had 4 centers on each end. And if you don't mark them right, when you put it back in to work on it and you get it the wrong way, you got a whole new dimension, which the top part here, it's not made like the bottom one is. So that was, thanks for the encouragement, whoever, Bert, and then thanks for the encouragement to make these. Maybe I'll bring it back sometime when once I have it painted. I worked till 10:30 in the shop, and I was too tired to paint it, so I didn't. So
those are nice. Those are nice pieces, Jim. Well,
thank you. It allowed me to learn a couple things. You know what I mean? If it allowed me to work again on the spindle gouge. I don't want to just throw a piece of wood up and keep turning it. I want to make something with it. So yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience.
Jim, I'd like to say last week when you mentioned the idea of offset turning, I was thinking of offset much more like Jim Duxbury showed earlier, where he had the pieces quite literally offset. This type that you've done here keeps the symmetry and the center line, the center of gravity, down the middle, even though there's cuts out of it. So that'll be a very stable thing, a stable offset turning as opposed to the other one. So well done.
Yeah. The thing about this is actually 17 inches tall, by the way. I guess I'm into long-haired blondes, but 17 inches tall. And when I reached over to my demo one, I want to show you one more thing. I have a rig to hold this. When I reached in, I grabbed my hand, reached right where the two beads were. One more. I made myself that was my mock-up from a year ago, the orange and blue thing. I said I need to be able to look at that a lot, so I made a little stand to hold it in, so that when I'm turning, I could get a little bit of an idea visually how it's going. I don't know. You can see how well I did or didn't do, but it was a little jig, I guess, so it was fun. Hey, I guess we're at 11:01, and Michael, you had something. Did you have something?
Last night on the World of Woodturners, there's not very many people that are in our coffee hour that are members at World of Woodturners. Andy Wolf and Linda Ferber had a couple of really cool wig stands.
Did they?
And if I could do a really quick share, I've got
ahead.
Andy's pulled up.
Go ahead.
I can't really pull the whole picture in, but they're a lady's approach.
Whoa. Beautiful.
And if I go to photos, I can find Linda's here.
You gave me an idea for coloring mine. I haven't started.
They're really cool. They just caught my eye.
Yeah. Who was this person?
This is Linda Ferber that used to be at the AAW office in St. Paul.
Oh, yes.
And she's very active with the women's wood turning group, and she posts a lot on Facebook, Instagram, and on the World of Woodturners. It's been around since 2001, and was started by Herm de Vries out of Winnipeg. Dave Bell is active on it. There's a few people here I think that are familiar, but
I was
Linda has some really cool stuff. She might be a good interview.
Maybe we can get her sometime.
Yeah. I should talk to John about it.
Yeah.
She does a lot of painting and some small stuff. Some really neat stuff. I never realized that she was at the office in St. Paul for years.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sherry reminded me again. I'd like to try some cup cutters to decorate these wig stands. I think we have an opportunity to be real artistic about the pedestal part of those, and so
I had a couple of slides of ones. We started a wig stand program over 15 years ago. One of our members went to New Zealand. I said, Morley, you got to see Terry. I forget his last name. Anyway, he ended up coming back, and we started a program a long time ago on wig stands. So they're fun. They're a great spindle teaching tool.
They really are.
Your replication piece that you made is really similar to what's on the Powermatic 3520.
Oh.
And that was done exactly for what you're talking about. So it was a good design. The one thing I noticed though on the 3520 was it holds it higher, so it's easier to see. And I don't know if that would make a difference for you or not, but it is on the 3520, it's higher.
Rich, I had cut my stand higher thinking but I wanted to be able to look down across my turning and see it behind. So that was the angle for me. But I could raise it up because I left space on the support things. But that's a good idea. Yeah.
But yeah, that was done on the 3520s and it worked really well.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Well, we better close down or poor John is going to have a fit with me. I won't be host again, so.
I think you did great, Jim.
Yeah, it's a good morning, guys.
Thank you,
gals.
Thank you, Jim.
Cheers.
Enjoy the Zoom.
Randy or Sherry. Yeah.
Take off.
See you all next week.
Wood shop. Thank God for wood.